Hello? Can everyone hear me? Is this working? Yeah? Okay, cool. That's good. Yes. I might switch these. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Um, click. Can everyone see that? Also, yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna wait a few minutes and then we'll start. I don't know where to put you guys. I'll just leave it here. Have any of you used LaTeX before? I'm aware of it, but now, okay, cool. Do you know what you would want to use it for? Resumes, maybe? Yeah, we cover that. We cover resumes. I have quite a bit on resumes. Same, okay. Do you like writing papers? Or are you the kind of like, yeah, I was just asking, do you prefer coding or like, do you prefer writing papers? Not prefer, that's not a good word. Do you enjoy writing papers? Not really, yeah, I feel that. How's the hackathon been going for everyone so far? Yeah, I did use LaTeX for Big Discrete. That's how I learned LaTeX. I told myself that like I would do it the entire semester, even if I was really close to a deadline, and that really put the pressure on. So that's how I learned LaTeX, by doing homework for Big Discrete. It was a great way to learn. It was tough. Learning LaTeX isn't tough though. Like it's not. It's just that like I put myself in a situation where I was going to do it no matter what. Yeah, he told us to use Microsoft Word, but I don't like Word, so I just used LaTeX because he said that was a good alternative. We'll wait one more minute and then I'm gonna get started. I took him in spring 2020. When did you take him? Oh, nice. We were probably in the same class then, Michaela. He is a really good professor. If he wants to drop, yeah, okay, I should probably do that. That's right. Of course, right when I need the links, nowhere to be found. Let me get it right now. So I only have one actually. So here's the link. The slide deck is going to be available after the workshop because I'm still adding stuff to like the resources slide deck, like the deck that I have. But the demo that I'm going to be giving is available on the website. So you'll be able to access that. Everything else is going to be on the website like 30 minutes after this ends. So you'll be able to have it and click around and mess around with it. Also, anything that I miss in the slide deck, like resources wise, is definitely in the demo. So look through the comments. That's where I added everything. I didn't want to like make it the document any longer than it had to be. So just look through the comments to find any type of resource. So we're going to get started. Welcome to Intro to LaTeX. I'm Chloe. I'm the president of ACM and ACM-W and the VP of AI UCF. Why did I blank? But I am giving this on behalf of ACM and ACM-W. I was supposed to give it in spring 2020, but we had COVID and that didn't happen. So I'm giving it now. Let's get started. So we're going to be using Overleaf to learn LaTeX. The main reason being is that I don't know if any of you have tried, but downloading LaTeX locally is it could be a hassle. Terrell figured it out. So I don't know if any of you know Terrell, but he figured it out somehow. I still have nightmares of trying to install it, so I just stick with Overleaf, especially since everything is already like included. You don't necessarily need an account for this workshop, but if you're planning on practicing after, you should definitely make an account when you get the chance. But I don't believe you should need an account to view the document at all. So moving on, this is going to be our table of contents. We're going to be going over what LaTeX is, why you should learn it, and then what goes into creating your first piece. And then we'll do the demo, and there's going to be resources available to you at the end. So first, what is LaTeX? So LaTeX is a tool used to create professional looking documents. It can either be pronounced LaTeX like I am saying it, or LaTeX like other people say it. They're both right. It's just instead of pronouncing like latex, you're just adding a K at the end. So LaTeX is based on the idea that what you see is what you mean, and it's abbreviated on the slide, meaning that you only have to focus on the contents of your document, and the computer's going to take care of like the formatting. So on Word, when you're trying to like space everything out and format it properly, sometimes things break. That shouldn't happen with the built-in functions and libraries that LaTeX has. So most of the times you don't have to worry about formatting because of the built-in libraries. When you're adding images, for instance, the stuff where word breaking and like your entire document just shifting out of nowhere, when that stuff happens in LaTeX, it's an easy fix. It tells you what to do, it's done and over with, and you move on with the rest of like your life. So it's something that you have to learn. Like, not that you have to learn, but you have, like, in order to use it, you have to learn how to use it. But it's worth it in the long run. So then we're going to go over why you should learn LaTeX, which are the reasons for you to stop using Word and Google Docs, and any other form of documentation. Other than Markdown. Markdown's pretty cool, but that's unrelated. So here are the reasons why you should learn LaTeX. There's also, like, I'm going to show you a bunch of examples after. So it's used all over the world for scientific documents, books, as well as many other forms of publishing. It allows you to, like, really quickly input any type of math, creating table of contents, referencing and creating bibliographies. I actually learned how to do that like a few hours ago. I didn't know about those two things. I must say, very, very quick. Like, I was very impressed. Having a consistent, and oh my God, yes, you have a consistent layout across all the sections. Like, it's great. It's beautiful. I had never used the amount of sections that I'm using in the demo. I'm very impressed at how LaTeX handles it. So the most important reason why people use it is because it separates the content from the styling, which means that you can write everything up and then worry about the styling after the fact. And when you're doing styling, you're only doing it in one area most of the times to affect the entire document. And it's the same all across. So it's pretty neat. Yeah, you'll see all that in the demo. I also added that you can find a bunch more information about why you should learn it, and then an intro section over here. So you'll be able to access that at the end. So here's an example. I don't know if everyone could see this. When I tried this out earlier with Jose, he said it was kind of blurry, but that if you make it large, you could see it. Here's like an example that I use for research papers. I mainly wanted to point out the columns and how even everything is, and how you can insert, I'll show you how to do this also. So how you can insert equations in the middle and everything is like separated very nicely. You can also add footnotes, figures and tables, and like just the columns and the ease of like separating everything very, very nicely. The reason why most research papers use LaTeX is because it's very simple to have the same template, I want to say, or styling guide or styling sheet all across multiple papers, because certain conferences require different formatting, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so I put the link to, if you end up actually reading what this says and you're interested, and also because you should always cite your sources, this is the link to where you can find this paper and look at it. I don't think that the LaTeX code for it is available, but there's quite a few research papers that do have theirs available. But yeah, this was just to point out the columns and the cleanliness and all of that stuff. And the fact that this is what most research papers use. This one is the reason why I'm assuming most of you are attending, which is resumes. When you click on the links, it'll send you to something like, let's see. Yeah, so that worked. When you click on the links, you'll be able to access this. If you press open as a template, then it'll be added into your own account, and you'll be able to edit it as your own. So it'll show up looking something like this. Here's the code. Don't worry about it. Don't freak out, please. Don't leave yet. And then on the side, if any of you have ever opened Overleaf okay, there you go. So it's going to show up on the side like this when you compile it. This is now in your account, and you're free to edit it as much as you want. The other options there were that you could just view the source code, which is going to look like this. If there was like something specifically that you saw in here and you know what you're looking for, you can just open the source code and like copy and paste it, I guess. Or you can download the PDF, which would be this. Back to here. So yeah, I put like 3 different examples. The ones that I used in the demo, like for you to practice on, are simple ones, or ones that are way more beginner friendly than the 3 that I have here. But I still added them in case you guys wanted to like learn how to do this stuff specifically. So yeah, you can do resumes. They can be automated, which is really cool. That's like the one thing that I think is amazing with LaTeX, is that you can actually automate your resume to update. And I put the resources for that. I'm not going to be teaching you that. I don't have the time for that today, unfortunately. But the resources, if you want to learn how to do all that, are going to be at the end of the slide deck. So next, you can also do your homework. Like it was mentioned earlier, if you were here, I learned how to do this doing homework in Big Discrete. This was an assignment that we had. It does not look the same. These are not the answers to any of Gerber's homework. I changed most of it. I used the X-Men because the X-Men are great. I also added the template here so that you can see how I did certain things. There isn't any math in this one. I removed the math equations because I didn't want it to like get too complicated or overwhelm anyone. But there's simple things like subscripts or ligatures, equals is not equal. And then it shows you that you can use math mode or mathematical expressions for letters to like make it look all fancy schmancy. Oh, glitching out. Okay, well, that is the next one anyways. I don't know which classes most of you are in, and I don't know everyone's programming level, but if you've ever used Jupyter notebooks or any form of like markdown, if you didn't know this, well, one, if you didn't know about Jupyter notebooks, you can add markdown cells. And then 2, you can add LaTeX in markdown cells. And I put all of that formatting stuff over here in this link to do it in Jupyter notebooks. But let's say you're taking AI, like the class, or robotic systems or any, yes, it's the same for Google Colab. Actually, Google Colab is more friendly with LaTeX. You don't even have to put like the little symbol to start math expressions. So I can also add that in the resources at the end, how math mode works for Google Colab. It's easier than on Jupyter Notebook. Easier. It's one more symbol. Then it's one less symbol, I guess, than Jupyter Notebooks. But yeah, so you can make pretty math stuff happen or just use LaTeX in there. And then another thing that I wanted to point out, which is what I asked at the beginning, if you don't enjoy writing papers, but you enjoy coding, you should look at it this way. You're writing code to write your papers, and you get to compile it, and there's errors and there's debugging, and it's annoying, but it's fun. I really enjoy that aspect. Writing papers was kind of boring for me before, but then when I started using LaTeX, it just made it way more fun because I got to compile it, and just, yeah, it was fun. So there are probably a bunch of other reasons why you should do it. Oh, I just want to go back to this. Research papers, this also falls under any type of like academic paper. So like if you're taking technical writing and you have to write like some sort of documentation for a project or whatever it is your professor is having you do for that class, you can use LaTeX as a good starter to learn for like, that would be a easy intro to LaTeX right there if you're just doing text and no math and nothing like that. And I also want to point out that here, I don't know if any of you noticed, I don't think I can zoom in. Can I zoom in? No? Okay, whatever. I can't zoom in. But if you notice the color differences, this is all stuff that you can find when you look at the template that I linked at the bottom down there. So if any of you were wondering how I did that. So now we're going to be going over, how you would go about creating your first LaTeX project. I'm going to try to cover everything you need to start on the right path, just like the basic commands type of thing. So yeah. By the way, this will also be available. I put this at the bottom. Don't worry about copying this information down. You'll have access to this template and you'll be able to see the output. So the way LaTeX works is, think of it kind of like Python or C or Java. Wait, Java. Yeah, Java does do that. Oh, I'm blinking. Yeah, Java does do that. So you know how you import your libraries at the top of C and Python and just like everywhere? Well, not everywhere. You can import anywhere in Python. Well, in C, I guess. We're going to use C as an example. So you would do the same thing here. You would import all of the packages that you're planning on using throughout your entire document. In this document, we only really need these three. Well, need these three. I added this one just because I like the way the margins look. So yeah, that was just like me nitpicking at it. Then here is where you would add something like your information so that it would output as like your name, the title of the document, your name, and then the date. This can be changed. You can change what this looks like. You don't even really have to use this. You can put it like later on. This is just like the most basic way of doing it, or the proper basic way of doing it. Then any modifications that you're going to want to implement across the document that aren't in packages already here, you would add them here, like at this portion in your code. So you can think of these as functions that would apply where they're called. These can be either environments or commands. So let's say that you're trying to change the way your bullet points look. Like the first level that your bullet point, you want your first level bullet point to be a star instead of a box. You would change that here, and then it would apply everywhere where that was called, which is pretty cool, pretty neat, if you ask me. Things like changing colors, or the thing that I did in my homework where every time I typed begin question and then end question, it would show up as a certain color, and then I would do begin answer and answer, and that would also show up as a different color. All of that would go in this part of your code. Then to begin your document, it's always going to start off the same. Begin document. Everything after that gets printed onto the PDF. I don't believe you can do this because I've gotten errors before. Maybe there's a way that I don't know of, but normally you shouldn't be able to like call these or make modifications and stuff like that once you type begin document, if you're in between begin document and end document. So you need these two, pretty much is what we're trying to say. In order for anything to print, you need begin document and end document. This is the command that's going to print out the information that you entered here. Then I just put begin command. That could be any command that is available in LaTeX or that you made yourself. Write some stuff to make it happen. And then you can also nest another command, and you can keep on doing that. So you can nest it just like with functions. You just always have to type end command for it to, finish, I guess. So this is all going to be available. When it's in the template, these are going to be commented out. So like end command, begin command, stuff like that, because if I run that, then it's not going to compile and you're not going to get any output, but it's in there and the layout is still there in the template. It's just commented out. That's just something I wanted you to keep in mind. So here's what the output of that little tidbit, ignoring this part. So anything here is just not, it's not print, just this part here is going to give you this right here. That's the most basic and simple way of doing it that I'm aware of, or that I've seen everywhere I've looked. Let's see. So the next one is going to be the demo and the resources. The link for the demo is available on the chat if you want to head over there. It's also going to be available here. I have both of them open. So what I want to show you is the differences between the two of them. So this is what the demo is going to look like. It's going to be filled out and it's going to have a bunch of stuff. Don't freak out about the amount of lines. I promise you, I put a bunch, you'll be able to see. And then your blank one, your template, is going to be filled out over here. It's not going to remain blank. I'm going to add some stuff. It's just that I'm going to be like making it so that it's like, hey, bold this part here so that you guys can actually get some practice out of it. I just wasn't sure what to do yet and how everyone was going to feel like comfortable. So I'm going to wait a few minutes until after to put this all together. It's going to be the same thing as the demo. It's just going to have some stuff that's not included, and it's going to tell you to do it so that you can get the practice. So let's get started with the demo. Here. Why aren't you open? Okay, there. Can everyone see this, or is this small? You can see it? Okay, it's not blurry. Do you want me to make a side like bigger or smaller? Make it a little bigger? Oh, which side? So did that help at all? The right is a little bit, but the left is more important. Okay. Did that help? It goes in and out of blurriness for me. Okay. If you want, you can always open it up on your end and you can follow along if you want. Okay, cool. So up here is, like I said, where you would put all of your packages. These are still packages. They're just like specific things that I'm applying. So I just separated it from, I just put a blank line. There's only supposed to be one actually. So please read the comments when you're going through the demo. I added all the links to everything in the comments. So if you go to the link that's here in this comments, you'll be able to find every package available in LaTeX and what it does. And it's like, it's a pretty cool, here, let me show you. So it looks like this. You can either browse through here, you can upload your own, package, or you can go press on D and look for the one that you're looking for and see what it does specifically. So yeah, just that's the kind of things that you're going to find in the comments. I made it 12. This is where you would control like the font that you want and the style so the style that you want your document to look like. If you change this, you should get a different output normally. Oh, you can also make slides in LaTeX, just so you know. That is also going to be in the resources. I just didn't cover that because I don't know how to do it, but I want to learn. So yeah, that's just something I found out like yesterday that you could do that. So you would go through, add your libraries. Here is the part where I think it lets you do that. You should be able to. So, oh yeah, so that's a thing also. You can add folders and files. And then here, based on the sections that you made, you'll be able to go to specific places and see it in the outline. So if I press here, then it's going to send me up there. If I go here, then it'll send me to that spot. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that there's a way to, so, oh, by the way, that's where you would press menu to get all of your settings. I also put a link for the hotkeys. Honestly, learn your hotkeys. They're very easy to learn. They're the same ones that would apply in Google Docs, Word, for like bolding, underlining, stuff like that. So yeah, it makes the process way faster when you learn the hotkeys. So yeah, here's the intro. This is the part that's showing up here. I just filled in the information here. So in order for the ampersand to show up, because it's a character that's used as like a prefix to something in LaTeX, you have to add a slash. That's a backslash, right? Oh, is that no, it's a backslash. So yeah, so you'd have to add a backslash to make it show up as a character. I added a link to somewhere that shows you all of the ones that you need to add backslashes to in order for them to show up. So unlike in C, where you would add 2 of these to get a comment, this makes a new line in LaTeX. So I just put 2 there and it made a new line. Like I said earlier, any modifications, so like functions that you're going to write for your document would go up here. Here are the links to all of that. This was something that I just like learned and put in here. You don't actually have to learn this or use this. It just made it so that you could press on these links and it would send you directly to where you need to go. So like things like this, you would put that up there, setting the colors. Here is where I'm defining what I want my new theorems to look like or the theorem styles. Again, look at the comments. You'll be able to find the links to show you all of that. I again put something about the hotkeys. So here's where your document actually begins on line 48. I put my title, which is what this line does. And then here's the table of contents. Here's how easy a table of contents is in LaTeX. That's all I typed. That is all I typed to make a table of contents happen. And the reason why it got out, the reason why it like shows up like that is because I used sections throughout the paper, and that's what's showing up here. So it just goes through, looks for what you call the section, and then adds it to your table of contents. You don't have to, and it edits it automatically. You don't have to bother with that. You don't have to update it. It's great. It's beautiful. I didn't know that. I just want to say, very impressed. So yeah, more about the table of contents here. Sorry, I'll stop ranting for that. You can find more here. And then this is how you would add a page break. So I separated my table of contents from the rest of the paper. This was the tidbit of code I showed you guys earlier to make the new commands. It's just commented out. So it's still available just so that you can see the template and how it follows the style. So I broke this up, as you can see, in 4 different sections. And then at the end, I put references. So that actually teaches you how to do a bibliography, a basic bibliography. It doesn't follow any type of styling. At least not that I know of. I didn't set it to follow any type of styling. I just wanted to put something with a bibliography at the end so that you could, see what it would look like. That also gets added automatically. Just want to say that. That's just cool. Like I didn't have to add a section name. It just got added there. So yeah, we're going to be going over items and fonts, and then debugging and what you should worry about, what you shouldn't worry about, and then a disclaimer. Then I'm going to show you guys like some I'm not going to show you guys research paper stuff. I'm just going to show you how you would make something look like a research paper. Then I'm going to give you some resume templates. So I didn't put a resume template in here because I didn't have time. I ran out of time to do that. And I also was very nitpicky with what I wanted it to look like. So I give you guys links to simpler ones and all that for you to practice on your own, but I will probably add one to like the blank demo if I have the time to. And then automation and stuff like that, if you want to go about doing that, if you want to know how you would do that. And then math equations, how you would do basic little things or how different math modes would look and stuff like that. So here, that's how you would call a section. So moving on to this page, is there any way for me to make this zoomed out a little bit more? Or no? Is that blurry if I do that? Yeah, right? Okay, what about that? Is that any better for anyone? That's good, okay. So all I did to type was for the one section to show up like that was section and then the name of the section. You can change what you want your sections to show up as, and I put that in the link above in the comments. You'll be able to edit it. You can make it look however you want. I don't have to go and put section 1 or remember any type of section number, as a matter of fact. I don't have to edit it at any point. All I have to know is the command to make a section, a subsection, a sub-subsection, and then that type of stuff. And LaTeX is just going to remember and go ahead and add the numbers where they need to be. I don't need to worry about that, which is, again, amazing, if you ask me. So here's how like I wanted to show you guys that like you could bold stuff easily. To bold something, like let's say here, like your first sentence. Oh, nope, that didn't work. Okay, let me undo that. So right now, if I recompile it, it's going to do, so you would press Control Enter or Command Enter, depending on what your OS is. And now it's not bolded anymore. But if I wanted to bold it, I would take that again. I would press Command B, but if you have a Windows or Linux or anything like that, you would probably press Control B. Well, no, that is what you would use. Command B, recompile, or Command Enter, and boom, it's bolded, you know, just like that. Then that's how you would italicize something. I just want to show you like basic little stuff. And then how you would do bullet points. This is what I meant by earlier. You can change this stuff. You can change what you want these to look like at different levels. Again, visit that link to do all that. I just want to show you that like you can either do something like this where you make another item, or like this where it would take care of it for you. There's none of that, like me and Google Docs, you know, we don't get along when it comes to bullet points. It doesn't like the consistency, and then it changes the number when I don't want it to change the number and stuff like that. That doesn't happen in LaTeX. I don't have to worry about that with LaTeX. I just have to add item, and then it knows what it's doing, and it's beautiful based on the section that it's in. So I'm just going to remove that. Yeah. So then you can, so this is to itemize. That's just for basic bullet points. Then you can enumerate, which is how you get the fancy schmancy stuff. You could use Roman numbers, or you can use any type of thing that you would want. You can set that as your own, like you would by visiting the link that I put up there. You can change all of these levels. In my homework, that's what I did. I used to change it because I don't really like this specific ordering, but I know that some people do, so I would change it in my homework at the beginning. It was really easy, simple, clean, applies to the whole document. It's great. You can also change what the font size looks like for certain words. You don't have to do the entire line, or you could do the entire line, you could do the entire document, entire section. It's honestly up to you. That's how I would do my intro. I didn't use the one that was built in because and you can automate that. You can change the way it looks like. It's just when I was doing my homework, I didn't have time to learn. So I just did it the simplest way I do, which was to just make certain fonts bigger and then enter a new line, make some smaller, and go on with my day. So there's a bunch of different levels of font sizes. You can, see that. Where did I put that? I put fonts and stuff. Fonts and stuff is going to be up here above your first sentence. So here, this one is like really tiny. I don't know if you can see it, but that's like the tiniest, that's the smallest level of font that they have. That is not the biggest one that they have. That's just like a large one. It's called large right here. I think that's the second version of large, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So now we're going to be moving on to debugging. So here I just added a subsection and then it did 1.1 for me. I didn't have to worry about the numbers or anything like that. So when it comes to warnings, some of you may have noticed there's these little things here for me. That's because of my line breaks. There's a certain way to do line breaks that LaTeX likes, and I don't want to do that. I think that my way is easier. It's not going to break the document, at least most of the times it's not. And when I mean break the document, I mean like actually error out and not compile. It could break the formatting. So like when it's being really annoying, I'll like bend over and be like, hey, okay, fine, I'll do it your way. Other than that, I'm just going to stick with this because it doesn't break my document. And most people I know end up doing the same because it doesn't do anything. It just gives you an error. So I put this, I think here, that if you hover over it, it'll give you like a quick description. Most of the times it's helpful. That's helpful. Like I know the lines that it's happening in between, which is here, and that it wants me to use something called hbox. If I want more details, I would go here. So these are the logs. Based on the one that's, the most urgent, it would send you to that error by pressing on it. So if they were bigger issues, they would show up as orange and you would get a notification. These are little warnings, what I like to call little warnings. If they're blue, they're little warnings. When they start becoming orange, then I kind of worry and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm about to break something, I'm not sure. And then when they're, red, that's when something went wrong and it just didn't work. Don't worry about that. Like if an error comes up, because the logs are going to be pretty descriptive. So like, let's see if I do this, that should cause an error normally. It did, like I said, like, we were expecting it to. So you would go here, come on, there you go. And then it's gonna give you this stuff. So yeah, this is like a medium, it's a warning. This is like an error. And it tells you where the problem is, the line, and what you should do if you wanted it to be an ampersand or to show up as an ampersand. In text, you could do this, like to show up, you would do something like this, which is what I mentioned earlier. So that should fix it, and now it's happy again. So yeah, you can read more about errors and debugging. I didn't add a link because I didn't do it, but I will add it. I will go back and add it. So then here I just added a disclaimer. I called it, subsection disclaimer. And then I used a remark, which is like under like theorems, proofs, definitions, lemmas, and all that stuff. I just used it to show you guys what it would look like if you use something that's like a remark. And for more of that, go to the link. The disclaimer is that you shouldn't freak out about the amount of text that's about to happen. They're all movie quotes from the Avengers. I didn't know what to fill it in when I was doing it, and I figured that, some Avengers quotes wouldn't hurt anyone. So yeah, that's what's about to happen next. So just don't freak out about the amount of text that's going to happen. Like, it's just a wall of text. That's it. So here's how you would make the remark. You begin and you end. You don't have to indent or anything like that for the command to work. And that's what it would look like right there. So then I put a section and it remembers. That's the second section. I haven't called it more than that, so it shouldn't appear more than that. Like I said, added a bunch of movie quotes. You can read them if you want. This too right here is a citation that, some of you may have seen earlier that there was like a cite something on the side. The citation is going to send you, when you click on it, to the bottom, and it's going to send you to this link, which is where I got the quotes from. That doesn't follow any type of style guide at all. Don't worry about the style guide. I did not follow anything. I just pressed links to show you, what it would look like, and to add a bibliography. So then I added so if you want something to not show up as a column when you started your multi-columns, which is how you would do it here. Oh my God, did I forget? I will also add that I forgot the link to the multi-columns. My bad. Okay, sorry about that. So you would do begin multi-calls, and then you would precise the amount of columns that you want. I didn't want more than 2 because I didn't want like people to not be able to read. And also I feel like more than 2 is a little bit overbearing for the size, like the paper size that we have. So yeah, I just made 2 columns, and then for it to not appear as a column, you do this. Open bracket, your text, close bracket. So let's say that you want 2 columns here, and then let's say you don't want this section to, be in a column anymore. That might look ugly. Oh, that didn't even work. Huh. Oh, yeah, that wasn't gonna work. Oops. Wait. Yeah, that wasn't gonna work. I don't know why I tried that. It worked earlier. Anyways, never mind. Ignore me. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know why that didn't work. I thought that would work, but never mind. That just added brackets. That's cool. I think that only works at the top then, maybe. Could be wrong. Might only work at the top. That's why it worked earlier. So yeah, I just added columns, sections, and it's going to remember all throughout all of this, even subsections and all that stuff. Here's our first subsection. Oh wait, it was our first when I write it. Okay, so it's not our first anymore. It was our first. It was my first one when I wrote it to begin with. Then I added a math equation in here for no reason, just to show you that that's what it would look like if you were to do something that's like research type. It's just in there. I told you not to worry about it when you're going through the demo. You'll cover that in section 4. It's just in here so that you see what it would look like in the columns. Then I added an image. So where is that? So you would end the multi-columns, which is where, this line ends. And then I inserted the image that I wanted. So that one. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, you can change the scale, you can change if you want it to be at the top or at the bottom by changing what's in here. And you would change the caption here. I didn't cover tables in this, but I will add resources to it in the slide deck. Just keep that in mind. I didn't add tables because I didn't want anyone to be overwhelmed with the formatting of them, because they can be like a little finicky. Not finicky. It can be overwhelming when you look at it for the first time. So I didn't want anyone to like get freaked out. So yeah, you would insert an image. This image is, oh, okay, great, don't zoom out. Okay, there you go. So this image comes from the folder that I have here. And at the top, I called that when I wanted the graphics path to come from images. So I don't have to keep on doing dot images throughout the entire paper. I just do it at the top. And then I don't worry about it for the rest of the document. So yeah, that's our first picture. And then I added some more columns just so that you would see, you put the picture that you want, more columns. And then I added another one, because Scarlett should, you should always have pictures of Scarlett, just if you can. Just add one for good measure. That's what I put, just for good measure. Also for sizing so that you would see what it would look like when you play with the scales. Yeah, that was also another reason for doing it. Now we're going to be moving on to resumes. And again, I'm going to point out the section number, didn't have to worry about it. It did it on its own. So for the resumes, like I said at the beginning, I don't have a personal template that I made myself for this, but I gave you guys access to 2 of them here. So the first one is going to look like this. It's a blank template, meaning that all you would have to do is go in and either change the color at the top or and change, where it says university name, company, stuff like that. I thought that this one would be pretty simple to start off with. And then the second one that I added was Jake's resume. I don't know Jake, like I put in the thing, just look like, had a clean, simple resume. This one is mostly beginner friendly. It's not beginner friendly. It's just, there's some stuff in here that I haven't covered. And what I haven't covered, you can easily Google or DuckDuckGo or Yahoo, whatever. Look it up. That's what I meant. You can easily look it up. Overleaf is more than likely going to have documentation for it. And if it doesn't, Stack probably will, or you'll be able to find it somewhere. There's nothing when it came to LaTeX that I haven't been able to find a resource for online within the 5 first links. Most of the times it's the top 2. Then I also put that when you're looking at, I don't know if Jake's resume does this, but I think the simple CV one does, if I remember correctly. The proper way of doing these sort of things normally when it comes to sections, so that you don't have this huge chunk of code, is to actually put it in files in here. Like you would have a folder called sections, and then you would call it at the top, and whenever you're calling those sections, you would call the files that are inside of the sections, so that you're not stuck with just a wall of code for the entire document, which is what Simple CV does. Then here I added our first link, I believe. I don't think I added any links earlier, but if you're doing a hyperlink type of thing, you would do it like this. I also added that resource all the way at the top, so you can go mess around with it. If you press on this, that's also something that I have in the slide deck. It's going to send you to the Overleaf resume gallery. There's how many pages of these? 74. There's 74 templates or different versions, available. That's pretty cool. And you can just download them as a template, edit them, as you want. So yeah, here's the automation stuff. I just looked at the time and I realized I'm running out. But yeah, here's the automation. We didn't cover any of this, but this is how you would update it automatically if you want to learn that stuff again. And here's the math section. So if you read the documentation, like that, if you read the actual code, you'll see that I added all the links for things that you need to know. And for math mode, the most common ways that I use are going to be listed here. So the ones to do it inline and the ones to do it this way, which is the same as this way, but I use like double dollar signs. That's what I call them. I don't know if there's another way, but yeah, I use double dollar signs because it just reminds me of the inline way. I don't have to do like the open bracket, close bracket nonsense. I don't think it's as neat as just, sticking with dollar signs all across. So you can read through that and you can see how to do it for square roots and stuff like that. I'm also going to add the resources on that for subscripts and superscripts, the resources here. Then here I just added, some random stuff like a theorem. That's how you would do it because I set it up at the top. So that's how a theorem would look. This is how a definition would look. And then I picked this one specifically because the parentheses that are used, if you look here, like left and then right. So these are going to change based on, like the size of them is going to change based on what's inside of here. So if I made this, let's see. I don't know if it's going to work, but if this breaks, then whoops. Yeah, so like I don't know if you saw, but like the parentheses size changed based on, what was added inside. That's how you would do something like that. Instead of just adding parentheses, you would do left, right before it. Okay, so then I just wanted to add an integral so that you could see how you would do an integral if you're interested in doing that. I did a bounded one in line, but like I put in here, I personally don't really like the way it looks. It looks tiny. I think it's not that cute. And it looks like really smushed together. So I just added it again, made it not in line, added it on a new line. Then I added an unbounded one, just so that you could see. Then for square roots, all you would do is remove the 3 if you wanted it to be just a regular square root. That's a cube root. And you change the number in the brackets there. Then here I added a section that shows you how to align math equations. So this is going to stay the same no matter how many equations you add at the end. All you would do is like what's here where they have the ampersand. That's what the ampersand does. It makes a new line in math mode. If I'm not, I believe that's what it does. Or a new section or something like that. I know that you also use it for matrices because, yeah, use it for matrices. I don't exactly remember what it does, but I can add a resource that will tell you exactly what it does. So yeah, you would do begin a line, end a line, and that's using the math libraries. There's a bunch of them. You can go and look for them. They're a lot of fun. I put that here. That's going to send you to the library when you press on that link. That's for the binomial. That wasn't using the parentheses thing where I'm like, oh, make it adjust the size. That's a function that they have built in. And then here, I just wanted to add something that's like on Greek letters because most people I know end up using Greek letters quite a bit when they're doing math, and usually any type of research. So here I just added alphas and betas instead of A's and B's, and then gave you a link to it. And I also aligned it so that it would look, a little bit more presentable. And then here is the equation from earlier. So I don't know if any of you remember, but I used the brackets when I did it up there in the research section or whatever. I don't usually use that way, so I just did the one that I normally use, which is the double dollar signs. And that just makes it come out like this. That's how you would do a sum. If you just wanted a sigma without the bounds, like the letter sigma. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. It'd show up like that next to it. That's just something I wanted to show you guys. Why isn't it? Okay, I guess. Let's see. And then the next section is the bibliography. So the number, again, link there to see more about it. The number that you put here is the amount of entries that you're going to be putting inside of your bibliography. The maximum amount that you can have is 99. That's just something that they have implemented. I put a 20 there because why not leave room for more? I don't want to have to go and constantly adjust the number. If I'm only going to end up putting 3 at the end, then I'll just put 3. And then the cool thing about the citations is that no matter where I put them, it's going to automatically remember the number. And I can switch these in whatever order I want, and the computer's going to remember. Like, it's not like with Word, because every time I've tried doing bibliographies with Word, I swear it's been a nightmare. This is way easier. Like, I'm impressed at how easy it was to do all this. So you would do bib item. This also goes to bib text or bib tech. That's usually what most research papers have available at the end, so that it just sends you to, I guess, the reference page, or sends you to like the link of resources, the list of resources that were used throughout a certain paper. Yeah, so you would put your bibliography down here, and then you would end your document, and that's everything, I believe. Did I go over time? Oh, wow. Right on the dot. Look at that. So if you have any questions or anything like that, I don't know if like I have time, like if I'm even supposed to stay after this, but I'm not going to hold you guys up. I did put my information over here. So this is the resources page. It's going to be filled out when it's on the website. Don't worry, when you access it, everything's going to be filled out. If you have any questions or you want to reach out to me or anything like that, here's where you can find me. I'm also on the KnightHacks Discord. You can also reach out to like Jose, Chris, or Harold. They all know me. So yeah, if you don't know how to get a hold of me. But yeah, thank you for coming, and I hope you really enjoyed this. I'm gonna head out now because I have to study for midterms. Bye, everyone. And you're welcome. Don't forget to go to that link, by the way. I don't know if it's like still pinned up there, but this is going to be available. And the recording of this is also going to be there. Yeah, that's where all of them are. Thank you. Good luck with the hackathon, guys. I hope you guys win. I know you can't all win, but like I hope you win. Bye.